Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mayowaoye. Today's tutorial is on how to make this elegant, extra flared, extra exaggerated, cone-shaped panel skirt, and it's a really simple one. So all you need is about maybe 4, 5 or 6 yards, maybe 5 yards or 6 yards really, because it's kind of really full. So hit the subscribe button below your screen, tap the like button also, and let's move straight in. So guys, on this dress, the standout feature is the godet. That is the detail. The standout detail on the dress is the godet. So I'll be ignoring everything that starts from the waist up, but then we'll be working on everything that starts from the waist down. So we'll be focusing on the lower part of the dress only, since that is where the godet is. And for that, you are going to need your basic skirt block. So this is my own basic skirt block already drafted. Guys, I always say this in my videos, I don't teach how to draft basic blocks in any of my YouTube tutorials. I only teach that in my private classes, so that there's no confusion of why I already have my basic skirt block already drafted. That is why I decided to explain that. One more thing before we continue, something that can make or break this skirt or dress, as the case may be, whichever one you want to do. One thing that can make or break it is the fabric choice. So because you can see that the godet is like very flared and drapey, so you need to get a fabric that is soft, light, and also drapey, a fabric that has a lot of drape and has a lot of stretch and is also lightweight. Yeah, so I don't think a heavy fabric would work for that, for the drapes that we have around the cone godet. So yeah, if there's anything else I need to mention, I'll mention it as we move along with the tutorial. Now, whenever you want to make a design, the first thing you need to think about is to look at the design and figure out what kind of shape the design is. Is it a straight shape? Is it a circle shape? Or is it whatever it is? You need to first figure that out. And for this particular design, just know that it's an A line. That is, the shape is an A shape. So yeah, that is what we'll be doing right now. But before we do the A shape, you need to first discover, or you need to first mark in how long you want the fabric to be. Now just measure from your waist to your ankle or wherever you want it to be. If you want it to be like, maybe if you want to wear heels with the skirt or dress, once you measure from your waist to your ankle, let's assume this is your waist to your ankle here, and it's about maybe 42 inches. That is mine. That is my own waist to ankle measurement. So let's say it's about 42 inches. So if you want to wear heels with it, all you have to do is to just add maybe 3 inches depending on the heel size you want to use. So if your heels are like about 3 inches, you can measure 3 inches extra or 4 inches extra. So basically, now for me, from here to here is how long I want my skirt to be. So now on this hem, and this is the hem, so on this hem right here, I'm going to extend it by maybe 5 inches depending on how much you want it to be. So you can extend by maybe 5 or 6 inches. It depends on how like flared you want the A line to be, or maybe even 6 inches. So I'm settling for 6 inches. So I'm going to measure the 6 inches from here out, and now I'm going to connect this from here to my hip level. So this is my hip level right here. Now I'm going to add the 1 inch allowance to the side here all the way down, and then I'll just cut the skirt out. So yeah, now the next thing I'm going to do, I've already cut this out. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to come to the dart line here. This is my dart line. It was already on my pattern, my basic skirt pattern. So I'll just cut my dart line all the way. I'll cut it up to this dart point right here, and then I'll stop. So that's that split open to that point here. Now I'm going to come to my dart line here, one leg of the dart line. I'm going to cut it open. So I'll cut it open all the way to here. I'll not cut it off in a way that it will split the pattern into two. No, so I'll just cut one that leg, and I'll stop somewhere around here. And here it is. So now I'll lift this up and place it over my second dart leg. like this. So by the time I close it, that space here is now here. So I'm just going to place my paper tape. I'll just use it to tape this down. So now that that's done, I'll measure what I have from here. I'll measure it all the way down to the hem. Whatever measurements I have, I'll write it down somewhere. We'll be using it for the next part of this tutorial. Please note that this pattern here is the front, although you can use this to cut both your front and your back. So by the time you want to cut your front, you fold this bit here, this part here that has a border line, you fold it in and then you cut your front on fold. And when you want to cut your back, you leave it open, and then this border line here, it serves as your zip allowance. So I hope you got the drift. Now let's move back. Let's move to the next part of the tutorial. Now let's draft in a godet or cone, whichever one you want to call it. So for that, you need a new piece of paper, and this is mine right here. So I said that you should measure what you have from here all the way to the hem, and for me I have about 38 inches. That is from this dart point all the way to the hem. So that 38 inches, I'm going to measure it on this new piece of paper. I can just start from here and then I'll measure 38 inches. Wherever that stops, I'll mark that here. And so this is my 38 inches right here. So this mark right here is my 38 inches. So now I'm going to place my tape measure on that part, and then you mark it this way. You mark it this way. Measure your 38 inches again this way, then you tilt it again and measure it again, then you can tilt it again and measure it again, then you tilt it again and measure it again, depending on how wide you want the stuff to be, how wide you want the cone or godet to be. So you measure 38 inches this way, then you tilt it again and you tilt it again and you tilt it again. You got the drift. Make sure it doesn't move away from the point. So you tilt it again to like this, and that's that. So yeah, I'll just do that now and show you what that looks like. So I had to use another piece of paper because that one wasn't wide enough for what I wanted to do. So I had to use a wider piece of paper. So you can see the points. These are the points right here. I placed my tape measure here, and then I continued tilting my tape measure, tilting till I got where I wanted to stop. So this is it right here. So I'm just going to connect that right here at the hem. So just connect this to the hem right here, and this also you connect here, then you connect this also here. You got the drift. Now I'll just draw a straight line from here down here, and basically that's that. This is my cone. This is my godet or cone, whichever one you want to call it. Now I'm just going to add a ½ inch allowance here, and then maybe 1 inch hem allowance right here. So that's that. And this is my completed cone or godet cut out. So when you're cutting on your fabric, please note that it's going to be cut on fold. So you're placing this part on fold on your fabric. So you fold your fabric and then you place this part on the fold line. So you got the drift. And then when you're cutting, how many godets are we going to have? I think we're going to have about 2 in front. If you look at the design, we would have 2 in front and then 2 at the back. So to save time, just cut 4 pieces of this. So now all I have to do is to just cut this on my fabric now, and then we'll move right along with the next thing. So this is my front pattern paper, and this is my godet pattern paper. Now before cutting the godet, I really want to show you something just so that you don't miss it. So when you want to cut your godet, I mentioned you're cutting it on fold. that is, you're cutting the godet pattern on fold. But instead of folding it like this, straight like this, and placing your godet this way to cut it, instead of folding it straight and placing your godet to cut it this way, it's better if you fold it this way instead, cone shape this way, and then you place this fold part on this part here, and then you cut it out. So this would give a better kind of drape. So cutting it unbiased like this will give it a better kind of drape than cutting it straight. Although it's going to waste your fabric, if you are really worried about the amount of fabric it's going to waste, then maybe you should just do the straight one. But it's going to give a better effect for your dress than if you cut it straight. So yeah, that's what I wanted to like explain before continuing. And we are done cutting. So this is my skirt piece and this is my godet piece. So I also added allowances here before cutting on my fabric. So I just added the allowance right on my fabric. See, so half-inch allowance here, half-inch allowance here, half-inch allowance also here. So basically I'm going to take out the pins now and spread it out so you can see what it looks like. So this is the skirt piece spread out open. This is what it's going to look like. And these are my cones. These are my cones. This is for this part, and this is the second cone for the front, by the way. So you got the drift. You can see the flares. Before even sewing it, you can see how much the drapes look like, how much flared the godet and the cone looks like. You can see the effect right here, and all of that because I did the pattern, I spread the pattern out, and also because I cut it on bias. So it's going to give that swishy effect. I'll do that when I finish. When I put it on my mannequin, I'll just like swish it just so that you can see how it's going to flow. So it's going to have that flowy effect. So now I'm just going to sew this right now. I didn't cut anything for the back because I don't have enough fabric to cut the full back, so I'm just going to be sewing the front. But this is what your back is also going to look like, except of course you're going to have this middle part cut open just so that you can have this middle part here. You need to have it cut open just so that you can fix a zipper right here. So you got the drift. Now I'm just going to move right ahead to sewing now, and then you can see what the final piece is going to look like. You know, I don't do so much explanation for sewing, but for a bit of explanation, when you want to sew, this is one side here, this is one side here. So you place this way. You need to be very careful with the sewing. So you place this here, and then you sew half-inch all the way down. By the time you are done sewing, you turn this all the way, and then you place this way, and then you sew all the way down also. By the time you are done, this would be in the middle right here. You got the drift. Then you do the same also for this. So yeah, that's that. I'll just sew all of that now, and then you can see what it looks like at the end. So guys, this is my final skirt look. So look at the godet, the cones, see how spread out it is. By the time I lay it this way, it's going to come like this, and see the second cone. So by the time I lay it this way, it comes this way. So you can see how full it is. What you need to be careful about when sewing is this part and this part here. So you just need to be really careful so that everything goes in. So if there is any kind of like mistake, you can just loosen it a bit and use a needle and thread to just fix up the edges, this part here. So you just use a needle and thread to fix it up. So yeah, that's that. So this is it full, this is it closed up. So I'm going to put this on my mannequin now so that you can see how it looks like. So if you're making the back, you attach you place the back right on this, and then you sew at the side. And that's pretty much everything. Don't forget to tap the subscribe button below your screen, tap the like button also, and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming tutorials when I post them. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.